everyone, welcome to Vidhigya Xplained series. Topic for today's discussion is Russia-Ukraine crisis. So the points to remember of the topics that we'll discuss under this topic: why this crisis between Russia and Ukraine, why this crisis has led to the tension between Russia and Western countries, that is US and European Union countries. Then we'll discuss Nord Stream pipeline for the current situation, and we'll also discuss about NATO, that is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So these are the few things that are relevant for your CLAT examination. So why crisis? So the crisis started in late 2013 and 2014. So tension between Ukraine and Russia, both were former Soviet states, escalated in late 2013 over a landmark political and trade deal with European Union. So both Russia and Ukraine were part of USSR, which disintegrated in 1991. So both became a republic. Like after disintegration, there's one country came out to be Russia, and another is Ukraine. Along with other countries, there are many countries in USSR. So the crisis started in late 2013 when Ukraine entered into a trademark deal with the European Union. Following this deal, in March 2014, Russia annexed Crimea, an autonomous peninsula in southern Ukraine. So this is Ukraine, this is Crimea. So you see here this region. So this is an autonomous peninsula within the Ukraine. So in 2014, post the deal with European Union, the Russia annexed Crimean Peninsula in 2014. So you have to remember this, that the which peninsula was annexed by Russia in 2014 is Crimean Peninsula. So this is one thing that you have to remember from your CLAT examinations perspective. Now, what is the current crisis? So recently, Russia is amassing their troops alongside the Ukrainian border. So alongside this whole region, the Russia is amassing its military troops and missile system, other defense equipments along the Ukraine border. And it is believed as per the reports, it is believed that Russia will capture Ukraine through military action. So this is why this is crisis. So why Russia wants to capture Ukraine? First thing, Russia believes that it was an integral part of Russia, and some of the lands were forcefully, like some of the land which is under the control of Ukraine is not of Ukraine's, but it is of Russia. That is why Russia is planning to invade Ukraine. Now, how this crisis between Russia and Ukraine has led to the tension between Russia and Western countries. So this is important. Now this you have to understand carefully, that Ukraine wants to join NATO. So first we will discuss NATO. So the first point here is Ukraine wants to join NATO. So NATO, what is NATO? It's a North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It established in 1949, post-World War II, based on the principle of collective defense mechanism. Presently, there are 30 members, and Ukraine is not part of this. So now we'll discuss what is collective defense mechanism. So collective defense mechanism, for example, if there are 10 countries part of this, and this is another country. So if this country attacks any of the country, for example, this country attacks this country. So if this country is a part of NATO, and then this attack will be considered as attack over all the NATO countries. So this is attack over all the NATO countries, and then all the countries together will retaliate against this country. So this is the principle of collective defense mechanism. So on the basis of principle of collective defense mechanism, NATO was established in 1949 and led by USA. Now we have discussed that Ukraine wants to join NATO. So when Ukraine wants to join NATO, for example, let's say this is Ukraine and this whole area is Russia. So when Ukraine wants to join NATO, Russia believes that when Ukraine will become part of NATO, then the NATO military, that the US and other European countries which are part of NATO will deploy its military or defense equipments alongside the border of Russia, near the border of Russia, and the Russia will be in the target of USA or UK or other European countries. So Russia believes that this will threaten Russia because of Ukraine becoming part of NATO. So this is one reason that Ukraine wants to join NATO, and with the joining of NATO, it will threaten Russia. And we have discussed NATO will be present near Russian border. When Ukraine will join NATO, then NATO forces can be deployed alongside the border. So we have discussed 2 points. And tension with the West, economic sanction. There is a debate, there is a talks going on between various countries like Germany, France, USA, UK. All these countries are planning to impose economic sanction against Russia in case of invasion. So if these countries impose economic sanctions, then Russia will suffer major economic losses. So that is one reason why Russia is hesitating to invade Ukraine till now. Not we have discussed NATO. Now it is important that Nord Stream gas pipeline. So there are two Nord Stream pipeline that you can see here, Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2. So this green one is earlier one and purple one is new. So the first line, Nord Stream 1, was laid in May 2011 and was inaugurated on 8 November 2011. So first Nord Stream, you have to remember which year, 2011. And the laying of Nord Stream 2 was carried out in 2018. Nord 2 started in 2018 and completed in 2021. It is a gas pipeline. So this is, now you have to remember that from where they originate. Nord 1, Nord 2. So Nord 1, Viborg to Germany's Greifswald, and this from Ust-Luga to Greifswald. So you have to remember the location, that you have to remember this Nord Stream pipeline starts from Russia and goes to Germany, to Russia, and from Germany that here the gas is distributed to other European countries. So this becomes an important economic option for Russia. So this is one reason. So you have to remember this Viborg, Ust-Luga, this location, and Nord 1, Nord 2, its timeline, and it's originating from Russia to Germany, and then from Germany it goes to other European nations. So Russia generates huge revenue from Nord pipeline. So Russia generates huge revenue from Nord Stream pipeline, and it is believed that if Russia invades Ukraine, then the sanctions will be imposed on Russia, and this Nord Stream pipeline can also be blocked, or like the supply will be blocked and no country will purchase gas from Russia. So this is something that is threatening Russia, that Russia's economic situation will become worse. So till now we have discussed the reason for conflict, we have discussed the annexation of Crimean Peninsula, and one thing that I haven't discussed is there are two separatist group operating in Ukraine backed by Russia. One is Luhansk and another is Donetsk. So these are two important separatist groups backed by Russia operating in Ukraine. So Russia also has this option, that Russia has two options in Ukraine: directly invade or support these separatist group in Ukraine and start the situation of civil war. So you have to remember these two groups, these two separatist group operating in Ukraine, and these two are backed by Russia. So we have discussed the crisis started post 2013, in late 2013. Then we have discussed Crimean Peninsula annexed in 2014. And then we have discussed the reason, tension with West, what is NATO, why Russia is threatened with NATO's presence in Ukraine. Then we have discussed about economic sanctions. We have discussed that the principles on which NATO is based, when it was founded, how many members are in NATO. Then we have discussed about Nord Stream gas pipeline. There are two pipelines, their origin location, their origin country, and their the country to which it is supplying the gas. Now the current options to avoid the situation of conflict. So one thing is Germany and other countries can impose sanctions on Nord Stream pipeline. Nord Stream. So one thing is this will affect the revenue of Russia. Second option is Ukraine drops its plan to join NATO. Ukraine says that okay, we're fine, don't invade us, we will not join NATO. And third is that USA and NATO members committing to not deploy missile system and troops near the Russian border. So in a reciprocal agreement, both NATO, USA and Russia must agree that all of these will not deploy their military personnel or military equipments near the Ukraine border. So these three are the current options available with the NATO, Ukraine, USA and Russia. So that's all for today's session. It's time for G quiz. So first question is, when was NATO established? NATO North. Your options are 1950, 1949, 1948, 1945. North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So the correct option is 1949. It is established in 1949, led by USA, based on principle of collective defense mechanism. We have discussed collective defense mechanism. How many countries are part of NATO? Your options are 27, 28, 29, 30. Correct option is 30. Which of the following are the separatist group operating in Ukraine backed by Russia? Your option are Donetsk, Luhansk, both A and B, none of the above. The correct option is both A and B. In which year Russia annexed Crimea Peninsula? Crimea is an autonomous region. Crimea was an autonomous region in Ukraine. So in which year Russia annexed this? That is 2014. Which of the following is correct? Nord Stream pipeline, Nord 1, that is Nord 1, started in 2015. Nord 1 stream pipeline originates from Vibov. Nord 2 originates from Ust-Luga. Your option D is both B and C. The correct option is both B and C. So it's not 2015, it's 2011. And the second one started in 2018 and completed in 2021. So we have discussed all the important points from your CLAT examination perspective on the topic Russia-Ukraine conflict. So yes, thank you for the session. Stay logical with Vidhigya, your best pal in CLAT Preps.